Hi everyone, today we're going to learn some oil pastel techniques, and you can see I've finished one here. The supplies that you're going to need are one of these technique sheets, some oil pastels, some tape, a paper clip, and some paper towel. So let me put these things all off to the side and let's get started. You're just going to watch this video, and then when you're done watching, you're going to start doing these. So I'm going to put my name on it. So each one of these things serves a different purpose. And the first thing I want to let you know is anytime you have two colors, dark and light, you want to make sure that you use the dark first. So the first one is strokes, light pressure. So I'm going to do a couple of different colors. I'm going to start with my dark first, and I'm just going to try to do some light pressure, and then maybe I'll take another color. I'm not pressing down hard. Okay, the second one is strokes, heavy pressure. So it's the same idea, except for I'm pressing down hard. And you can see when I do that, the intensity of the hue is so much more. Okay, so that's light pressure and heavy pressure. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to then blend afterward. So here's my light. If you notice that your colors are giving off other colors, you can take a little bit of your paper towel and just wipe the oil pastel on it, and then it'll be clean. So to blend it, you're going to take your paper towel and you're going to kind of fold it and roll it till you get a roll like this. And then you're going to kind of just fold it over a couple of times and you get almost like a point. And then I can use that, putting my finger for pressure to blend. So there's my light pressure blend. I'm going to do the same thing with a heavy pressure. When you're doing this assignment, I want you to try to fill the boxes and not have very much white space in the boxes. Okay, I'm going to take my blending paper towel. I'm just going to turn it over and use the other side. I don't need to get a new one. I'm going to blend again. Try not to rip your paper. Okay, moving on. Highlight with white. Okay, so this one I'm going to use a color and I'm going to use white. Remember I said that you should always use your darker oil pastel first. So that would be my orange here. It's darker than white. I'm just cleaning it off, getting it ready. And so I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to start with a heavier pressure. And as I move down, I'm going to lighten up my pressure. You'll probably remember this when we did other assignments, if you've ever done a value scale. Okay, so there's my color. Now I'm going to start with my white down at the bottom, and I'm going to go on top of the color upwards, And the thing about oil pastels is it likes layering, so it doesn't like you to stop there. And one thing that you might want to do is start doing some circles and see how that adds a little bit of mixing. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is black with a color to make a shadow. So again, black is my darker, so I'm going to start with black. Put some heavy pressure down here, and then lighten it up. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do heavy pressure, and I'm going to go into the black. And you'll notice it gets black right away. This one, again, circles is going to be really important. It's going to kind of pull the black up into the orange. Then I can go down here. This is going to make my orange be really dirty, but that's okay because I'm getting a very dark orange. So when we aren't doing practices and we want a dark orange, this is how we get a dark orange. Okay. The next one is really fun. You need a dark and a light, and I will use red. Since I have red and orange, I'll use red and orange. I'm going to clean off my orange. You want to, for this one, it's called sgraffito. And it's a Latin word that kind of relates to the word graffiti. Okay, sgraffito. So what you want to do is you want to cover this area with medium to dark pressure with a lighter color. The lighter of your two. Don't use black and don't use white for this. I'm covering the area so I don't see very much white underneath. And then I'm going to go on top with the darker color. And if you use two colors next to each other on the color wheel, it's going to be a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to go over it on top with the second color. So red and orange work well together, blue and green work well together, green and yellow work well together, red and purple, purple and blue. Those would be good combinations. Here's where my paper clip comes in. And we're going to take the paper clip, and we're just going to unfold it so you have like a little writing utensil, and then you can start scratching in designs. So I want you to make some sort of a pattern. And this, like I said, sgraffito is related to graffiti. You can see how it mars the surface. When you're done with this, bring it up to the front, and we will recycle these paper clips and use them for another class. Your class might already have some that are already open and have been used before. But you can see you can do all sorts of cool stuff with it. So play around. And have fun. Okay, so the next one is mixing colors. So I'm going to move this up here. Red and yellow make orange. So I'm going to have red and I'm going to have yellow. And like I said before, you want to start with the darker one, so that'll be red. So I'm using heavy pressure and I'm putting the red down. And then I'm going to come from the bottom up with my yellow, and when I meet red, I want to go on top of red a little bit, and then I want to start circling to pull the red down into the yellow. So I'm pulling the oil pastel down into the other color. And as they blend together, They make an orangish hue. Okay. And then I'm going to clean off my yellow because I'm going to use it again. And I'm going to do yellow and blue. And I want to do the lighter one first. I'm sorry, the darker one first. So I'm going to start with my blue. Then I'm going to add my yellow from the bottom. See, I'm using most of the square and go into the blue and then start using the yellow to pull the blue down. I'm using a circular motion to kind of blend. Okay, and then the last one is, the next one is blue and red make violet. So between blue and red, blue is the darker. So I'm going to put my blue up here. I'm going to put my red down here. I'm going to go over the blue. And then I'm going to circle and pull it down. I might, because these are similar in intensity, I might go back with the blue a little bit to kind of blend as well. But usually your lighter color is the blender. On the projection, it doesn't look as purple as it does in real life. The next one is kind of what not to do in your project, and that is to use complementary colors. So there is purple and yellow. Okay, so purple is the darker. And complementary colors, if you remember the definition, it colors opposite each other on the color wheel. And when we blend these together, they make a brownish. And unless you are painting something or drawing something that's brown, you probably don't want to mix these colors. So this is an example of what not to do. And the next one of what not to do is red and green. So I'm going to take my lighter green and my red. My red is my darker. I'm going to clean it off. Using my red, going down a third of the way, using my green. And again, these are opposites on the color wheel, so when they start to mix, by doing that circular motion, they're going to get a brownish. And it's pretty muddy and not desirable. So I'm teaching you what not to do. And the last complementary color is orange and blue. So my blue is darker. And my orange is lighter. And I'm going to get a different brown, but it's still going to be kind of brown. This one's kind of greeny brown. Okay, and the last one is called masking. And here's where you need two different colors. So I'm going to do actually probably three different colors. I'll do blue and purple and green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down a foundation of one of the colors. This should not be black. This should not be white. This should be somewhat of a lighter color because you'll see what we're doing next on top of it. So there is my lighter blue. I'm going to take my masking tape now and use it like the name says, masking. And I'm going to tear off some pieces of tape to make a shape. And this is going to get me really sharp edges. So if there was a place in your artwork that you needed really sharp edges, this would be helpful. So I'm going to take my oil pastel and I'm going to go from the tape down onto the paper like that. from the tape down onto the paper. And that is going to give me a nice line. And I have to do that over and over again, filling up or covering up all the blue. And when I pull away the tape, you can see that I have a nice edge to my triangle. And in your space, you're going to do two. So here's my example with two shapes done. So that is what you're going to be doing today on your oil pastel techniques. So go ahead and get out your supplies and get started. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.